All right, everybody. We are here again on another Thursday live with the Triple Profits Podcast, the number one new business startup channel on YouTube. And we got a fire subject today. I'm excited. I haven't been this excited all day, but we've got 6 steps to getting rich in 2022. So we're going to put some money in your pocket. But
Yay.
On a serious note, we got Devontae, the guru, in the house. JD, the champ of real estate again.
And y'all know what it is.
So let's get right into this one. So we got 6 steps, right? And we'll give them to you, but we'll save the secret sauce for later. So we'll give you the first 5 right now. Save more than you can spend. That delayed gratification. 2, ask questions of the successful. You have to be open to receive your blessings, right? So surround yourself with positive people. Your atmosphere and who you're around, it plays on you. You have to be an action taker. You have to take the action. But when it comes to getting rich, you want to be a master. You want to master at least one income producing activity. So it's a lot to unpack with the special one that brings it all together at the end. Let's take it from the top. That delayed gratification, JD. What does that mean to you, man?
And that one's huge for me. I think with delayed gratification, you got to understand that when you are trying to get rich, you're trying to build things. I always compare it. It's almost like working out to me. Like, you are not going to see results instantaneously, so you are going to have to put in the work and wait to see the results later. You can't, eating one good meal, working out one good time, it's not going to get you swole. It's not going to get you strong. You ain't going to see much of a difference. But if you delay the gratification, you keep putting in the work, keep showing up, keep doing the hard things. Same thing with like saving up money. If you save a little bit here, save a little bit there, you're going to create you're going to create a habit, which is the biggest thing. You're going to create a foundation that basically allows you to transfer what you're doing into everything else that you're trying to do. And that's it's going to naturally just flow into building that foundation so you can grow your finances, your business, whatever the case may be. Just holding off those moments of instant satisfaction, wanting to go get the new iPhone, a new pair of Jordans, anything like that, where you're just spending your money kind of willy-nilly. Setting that foundation early is going to basically create that habit that carries over to everything else.
So you mean when I make that 20K in 1 month, man, I just can't blow that right away?
I mean, you could blow it, but you're gonna be back at square one. You gonna look nice for a month. IG gonna be popping for a month. Everybody's gonna be popping, but you're gonna be hurting on day 30.
I gotta flex on them though,
Hey, but you better. I like it. Show them to roll it. You be. How about you stun on them real hard with 2 racks, 3 racks, and flip that 17. Now you can ball on them all year. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it once again, that goes back to what we were saying, like creating a habit and getting prepared. Like it goes back to ultimately, what are you looking for? Do you want to be rich for a short time or for a long time?
That's a good question.
Devontae, you struggle with the delayed gratification, man?
No, I don't. I don't.
How'd you get there, man?
It's a lot of practice, man. Like JD was saying, it's a lot of practice. It's a lot of practice, and the reason I think delay and gratification is it sets up a foundation, definitely, where you can start working on yourself. Focus and discipline. Those are my secrets right there. When I'm focused on something, even my mama know I can't bother my baby. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm focused on something, I'm like hyper focused, and it's really you zone into it, and you start doing what JD's saying. You're creating the habits. You're creating the belief. You creating that frequency that you want to be on. You creating that mindset that says, I'm the boss. I can do this. If you can't do that discipline wise, you can't delay gratification. If you can't like delay your focus off of things that are not important and focus on things that are important and do that consistently, I don't even see a point. I don't even see a point.
Hey, and for everybody out there, man, who's like, well, I don't make enough to save. Woo, man.
Let's say that backwards. You don't save enough to make enough. You know, like
there you go.
Yeah. No, I think that's an excuse, man. There is usually always going to be some type of sacrifice you can make. You know, there's going to be some type of sacrifice that you can make. I don't care if it's that cup of Starbucks in the morning, those cigarettes you may be smoking, that candy you may think you need to have. There's going to be some way you can save, even if it's a little bit of money, some type of money. The idea with starting this isn't to instantly save your way to being rich. The idea with starting with this is to build the foundation so that when you do come across money, you aren't using the same old habits that got you in this situation in the first place. You want to get away from what you ain't doing. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. Yeah,
that's man. Yeah, that's the key, man. And so don't get caught. I see that excuse is the same way I hear people make the excuse that they ain't got time to work out. They ain't got time. They ain't got time to study. They ain't got. You got time. Turn the TV. I guarantee. I always tell people that, like, if I sat with you for 24 hours and watched everything you did, I guarantee you I could find time and I could find a way where you could say something. So it's really, you got to really have that serious talk with the person in the mirror to get to get yourself to understand that, you know what, I'm making excuses. I can't do
that. And one of the things, man, too, you got to understand, right? There's been people who've been in your shoes before and they've done it. So that brings us to the second thing, the second major thing that you need to do in 2022 to get rich. You got to ask questions of people who have the success that you inspire to get, right?
I gotta give you props on that segue right there, Marcus. That was a nice crossover. That number two. That was smooth, bro. I ain't gonna let you just off the. I'm gonna give you props. That was smooth.
Like we wrote this out or something.
Exactly, right? Like we playing this stuff. But no, I like that. But go ahead, bro. Let me cut you off.
Yeah, but man, asking questions of people who are successful, that's one thing. And right now, in 2022, there's so many different ways to reach out to people. We're talking, Tavante in Indiana right now. I don't know where you are. You're in Agicore land.
Right.
Right?
I'm in Bakersfield with you. I'm still in Bakersfield.
Okay, all right. You could be in Pismo. Oh, I know.
That's true.
But there's people out there who've done it. You can see results. You can email them, social media, right? You can tag people, but there's still that same traditional, that mentor. There's always someone in your community who's done it. They don't know who you are. You don't know who they are, but you got to find them somehow, right? But what happens when you find them, though, Tavante, and they tell you, you got to cut out Netflix, or you can't watch the Triple Profits podcast on Thursdays at 6 o'clock-ish.
It's funny because I stopped mentoring. I used to mentor kids a lot because I don't want to mentor kids anymore. Not because I'm an asshole and I don't like kids. I love kids. I just want to mentor more business owners. That's what I want to do more. So I've been doing that more often now. Like, people call me and say, hey, I want to do this. Can you help me out? And I tell them, Frank, my attitude before, like 3 or 5 years ago, was totally different than it is now, right now. And right now, it's cut to the point. I go right to the point. And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to hold nobody's feelings. If you're offended by what I say, you're not ready. And so to answer your question, when you ask those questions, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to say, that don't feel too good, but if it feels good to me, it probably ain't good to me because it's probably what I'm used to. And if it feels a little bit uncomfortable for me, then that's probably where I need to be going, because this is not something I'm usually doing. You know, this person is doing something that I haven't done quite yet, right? And so if they're doing it and they're showing me that I can do it, I have to follow. I have to be open to. I have to be open to what they tell me to do. And going back to the whole idea of the savings, man. Did you know that you can pay $15 a month for a good wireless bill? Did you know you could do that?
Yep.
And did you know your iPhone that you love so much? Most folks love iPhone. I don't really care for iPhone. I just if the phone fucking works, I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Can I text? Can I call? Can I send an email? I don't care about the logo on it. I don't care. Does it work? Is it good? Right? When you love your iPhone, you want to keep your iPhone. You know, you can take your iPhone with you and still pay $15 a month. And if you want more data, if you want a more, you can pay $30 a month for a good cell phone bill. You get what I'm saying? So if you look, there are ways you can save a lot of money. You just got to be able to say, there's someone who has a better solution than I have. If I look hard enough, I'm going to find it.
Right.
And you will. Every single time you're going to find it.
Definitely true. Yeah, I mean, and touching on this some more, Marcus, like with finding that mentor, I know there's going to be some people out there that say they ain't got enough money to pay a mentor or get a, find a mentor. I think there are different ways you can find mentors. One, you can find somebody that may be willing to give you game because they want to pass that information along. Yep. You may be able to find a mentor, and you may have a skill or some type of sweat equity that you can do for them, where you bring in something to the table and they're willing to give you that information just because they see the hustling. They see that you're bringing something to them. So there are ways to get out there and find a mentor. Shoot, another way you can be mentored by somebody that you really aren't even truly interacting with, whether it be, watching somebody watching these studies on or videos on YouTube. Finding mentors that way. Like, I've listened to a ton of Les Brown and you know what I mean? Like stuff like that, where I'm not in the room with him, but I'm getting the same information he's almost giving his mentees. So there are ways, and it may be, you may have to start out that way where you aren't able to put up as much out there or put up as much money up front, I should say, but you can still get a lot of the same information that you would get as if you were in the room. But you got to be willing to not accept the excuse that you can't do it.
And definitely, man, E.T., he's my mentor, man. He brought me through the beginning of that pandemic. You would swear that he was in my bathroom when I woke up every morning. You hear him say, what did he say? You get up at 4 in the morning or 3 in the morning? Whatever you say, man, I'm up too. We doing
I'm up every day. Every day.
Whoa.
I got that dog.
And then I was looking, man, I got to listen to some Goggins, because you hit a certain point, man, you need the motivation. I had to get up off him, man. I was gonna hurt myself listening to some Goggins, man. But
Goggins have you running through walls, man. Goggins will have you running through walls.
But man, there's something for everybody, though, right?
Yeah, there is. There definitely is.
There's
mine is Abraham Hicks. I listen to her every single day on repeat. I had a CD on Law of Attraction. I listened to it over and over again so much I couldn't play the damn thing no more. Like I play that CD like over and over on repeat. You know what I'm saying? So there is definitely out there somebody for you, basically.
Okay. Yeah, dude, I'll listen to it. It depends on what I'm looking for at the time. Like you said, sometimes, Marcus, you need that motivation. So I'll let ET yell at me for 30 minutes, telling me to get up off my butt, and then I might need knowledge. So I'll switch it up to something more specific for my market. I'll go into real estate stuff and get just picking someone's brains. Then I might switch it up to somebody like Jim Rome, where he's bringing knowledge, bringing game about mindset, things like that. So there are, there's a mentor out there for everyone, depending on what your flavor is that's needed. But don't settle on the idea that you can't find them. Go find who you're looking for. Take a sample size out there, and then as you get bigger, don't be scared to pay and invest in the mentor. And like Tavante said, man, when they give you this information, follow the information, because it's going to feel uncomfortable and wrong when you first start doing it because it's not what you've been doing. But what you've been doing ain't been working.
Ain't working.
So let that shit go. Let your ego go. Get it out the way, man.
Hey, so everybody who's just tuning in right now, we're talking about these 6 major things that are going to get you rich in 2022. We haven't unveiled the 6th one yet, but just a recap. Save more than you spend, delayed gratification, ask questions of the successful, be open to receive those messages. And the third one, surround yourself with positive people. So we discussed this when we put it in there. Guys, Tavante, man, what's the importance of setting the right environment for yourself, man?
So it's funny because I don't have anybody around me that I'm not in on the West. If I'm the West Coast, it'd probably be a little bit different. I'm not on the West Coast. I'm in Indiana. And I hate to use this I don't want to believe that there are people that think like me here. I just don't know who they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend a lot of time alone. Like a lot of time alone. And that has been like the best thing for me because I don't have anyone. Like I don't tell my ideas to people when I'm excited about them. I wait. I learned that lesson the hard way. You know, you go tell your ideas and they got all the reasons why I can't work, blah, 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 and they ask all the questions. And really, it's a thing of, it's a test of your vibration. If your vibration is not steady, if you're not confident in what you're doing, you're not ready for any criticism, then they're going to squash it. You know what I'm saying? Then you're not going to feel confident about it. You're going to go, it be throwing you all off. So you got to just, well, for me, I spend a lot of time alone. I talk to myself a whole lot. That may sound crazy, but I do. I talk to myself a whole lot. I talk through ideas. I pick, if I want to tell someone something, I pick that certain person I know I can do it comfortably. But I don't have like a group of people that I say I hang out with. I don't really even, I don't live a traditional life. I'm a weirdo, you know what I'm saying? But the reason why it's important, like I said, is because if whether you're spending your time alone like I do, or you have people that you can go around and they can really build you up, you want to have that confidence level be high. And whatever you can do to get your confidence level high, mine is just being alone, but yours may be, you know, talking to friends and, you know, call your girl and she's your cheerleader, you know what I'm saying? Or call your guy and he's gonna, you know, give you some encouragement. You need that because energy is everything. If you don't come into this thing with energy, you got nothing else, you know, you need your energy to be high.
So JD, man, how do you draw that positive energy from people, man? What's your situation like? You sit in the corner, man, or I can tell you have no energy and you don't like people at all.
I just keep you away. That's a lie, man. You know what we went through in Vegas, man. I couldn't walk past people without them wanting to talk to me, man. It's weird. It's funny. It reminds me of that environment thing. I could tell you what I've kind of learned just going through my process of getting in entrepreneurship and growing my circle. And it's funny. I think of this story. I remember in college, one of my teammates that I played ball with. This fool had a caiman or he had alligator. This fool had alligator in a fish tank in his living room. It was a big fish tank. It was a gator, and I remember just talking to him like, man, one, you crazy that you got a damn alligator in your living room, and just silly, crazy fool. He was a Samoan cat, crazy. And I remember just being like, man, like, dude, you ain't worried about like that thing getting bigger and tearing this whole goddamn house apart, and you gonna be in here wrestling? He just explained to me, he was like, well, that's cool thing. He was like, if I keep him in this cage, he ain't gonna really, or in this environment, he ain't gonna get much bigger than this.
Yeah.
He gonna stay about this size. Like he's not going to grow to what he would grow to in the wild. So that kind of stuck with me to say this. What I learned is it's going to be very hard for you if you're trying to grow out of any old rules, any old traditions and things that you learn. It's going to be very hard for you to outgrow your environment. So if your mindset is to grow and get rich or be successful in whatever endeavor you're going to have to change your circle to people that are on the same page. And that's one of the biggest things I kind of learned. even when I was working corporate, it is very hard to talk to other people in the environment that you're in the corporate environment, to get them to see that there's much more out there than what they're doing. It's very hard to get them to see the bigger picture. And it doesn't mean that, you know, they aren't successful at what they're doing while in this environment, but it's also very hard for them to see outside of that world, outside of that bubble. So if you come, like Devontae was saying earlier, he doesn't want to tell certain people, he doesn't want to tell small-minded people his ideas because they look for every way to shoot it down. It's going to be the same thing if you're in the wrong environment. If you don't have the right people around you that are encouraging your ideas or have something to add to your ideas to help it blow up, every time something comes out your mouth, you're going to shoot it down because you got the outside voices in your ear telling you that it's not going to work. So get the hell out of your cage, get the hell out of your aquarium, go somewhere that's going to help you reach your full potential. Make sure you wrap yourself around people that are like-minded, people that are really even, and this is going to feel uncomfortable. Once again, this is going to be something that feels uncomfortable as hell. Get around people that are already successful. You're going to start off feeling a little bit lower because you're going to see what they're doing, and it's going to be a little bit intimidating. But if you can stick around, the cool thing about people that are successful don't shoot down people that are below them. They bring them up. Like truly, people that are successful, a lot of that ego is removed. It's only people that are below you that usually try to shoot you down. So get into that type of environment. It'll help you grow the hell up. Yeah, like you said, Mark, I'm a very chipper kind of person. Like I know my size and my demeanor may not show that, but I as much I like being around people that make me feel good and vice versa. You know what I mean? So that was one of the biggest things I learned, was just literally like, and it's funny because even if you're around successful people, but they aren't doing what you want to do, it's going to be hard for them to see what you're trying to create. So you got to get around that like-minded people.
Man, definitely. Now, before we go any further, my daughter told me you have to go to YouTube, subscribe, and like this video and share it with your friends. We ain't did that ever. Out of all
we have not. Tell your baby girl, good job. Tell her.
So we on point now.
Yeah.
But hey, now the positivity of people and being in that environment, it can spark you. And for a lot of people, though, you can get stuck just being around a lot of people. And the reason is our fourth thing that you need to do to get rich: take action. So I've taken courses, I've been a part of groups, masterminds, inner circles, all this stuff. And I've made some money doing it. But one thing that I see with people who are in those types of groups, they'll be in the comments, they'll be like, oh, can you show me how to do it? We all have the same information, access to the same information that you do, especially if you pay for it, but they don't actually take the action. It's gonna be painful. You're gonna fail. But when you're in a community with positive people, your failures become that much more softer because it's normal and it should be expected, because through the failures, you get the wins. So that taking action, man. So Devontae, man, kick it over to you. Man, how far on this list do you think taking action should be versus the other things that we have here so far? What do you think?
No, I think it's in perfect place. I think it's in perfect place because once you have started to discipline yourself, we've talked about that. You ask some questions for successful people. You being open-minded about what's going on, and you've found some way to energize yourself. Whether you're being around people or you get time to yourself alone, and you're ready to take action. I think the reason why people don't take action is because they are afraid or they're nervous. There's some emotional aspect to why they haven't taken action. They feel like they don't have what they need to be comfortable. And when I hear that emotion, I think about it. It's just, you don't have enough energy yet. You just don't have enough energy yet. I think, some people will say, well, just do something, just force yourself to do something. I don't think that's actually wise.
Mm.
I don't think that's wise at all. Because when you force to do something and you're not really ready for it, then you make a mistake, and your mistake is not seen as a learning part of the learning process. You see it as a reason why you should have did it in the first place. And now you've hurt yourself to the point where you may not want to take another action. So I think either take no action until you really, really, really are excited about it, or take a very, very small action. Very small action. But if you can take a small action and you know you've done that small thing, and you can make the next step and the next step and the next step, then you grow on yourself, you know. But you know, that's what I would say about that, the action. I think it's more a think about the emotional reason why. And it really, emotion is about, you know, you just don't have enough energy. You need to get some excitement. You know, maybe it's perspective you need to have. Maybe to look at it as a game. Make a game out of it. Don't make it so serious. You know.
So speaking of game, now JD, man, what do you do as far as action taking? What are some of the tips you can do to kind of gamify the action steps, man? What do you do?
Man, Atomic Habits taught me a trick where you create small wins with some of the things that you're trying to do. One of the things they talk about in the book, there's literally a story in there where there was a salesman that moved to like top 5 in his industry in like the first 2 years he was there. And what he would do is every day he would make, I believe it was like 100 contacts or 100 calls. And every time he would make a call, he'd put a paper clip in the bowl or a marble in the bowl. So he'd move it. He'd have like 100 marbles in this bowl and move it over. And he kind of gamified it like that, where it was just like, boom, every time I make a call, I get a connect, I put it over here, I put it over here. So it doesn't seem like it's a huge thing or, you know, a huge thing of instant gratification, but that small win, that visual of watching that those marbles go from here to here and emptying that jar, gamified it, as you said, Devontae. So he was able to keep doing and taking an action that he needed to do to be successful. Kind of same thing with me. What I'll do is I'll send, like when I need to make my calls and I'm procrastinating on BS, and what I'll do is I'll send somebody a chunk of money. You know what I mean? Like one of my partners, one of my accountability partners, I'll send him $500 early in the week, and I'll tell him, okay, if I don't make 100 calls each day, any day that I don't make 100 calls, you keep $100. Just that simple. I kind of put,
fire your butt, right? I like that.
Yeah, I put a huge pain point to it, because I know, like that, especially when you're in this entrepreneurship and you getting started, man, you're breaking old habits. You know, before you used to have somebody over your ear. One, you have the fear of somebody over your ear pushing you, making you do the things that you needed to do, and then also that check you was getting every 2 weeks. But with this game, you ain't got that. So you got to figure out ways to kind of inspire you. And that was the way, like you said, to for me to light that fire into my ass so I could do what I needed to do. And so that was the way I gamified it. But, you know, going to what Devontae was saying, I think a lot of people have, you know, they're scared to move and take action because there's a healthy fear, or unhealthy fear of failure. You're scared to take this first step to do what you need to do, or what you say you want to do, which is be rich, but you get scared to take this first step. But you got to realize, like, to get anywhere, to take any journey, you have to take a step. I don't care if you got to rest in between while you're taking steps. I don't care if you got to take a knee. I don't care, you got to get some water, you got to rest. As long as you keep moving, you can win, but you got to take the steps. If you don't take any action, how you going to get any results? Yeah. So take action, you know what I mean? Move. And if you can, like how Devontae said, if you got to start off with small wins, start off with small wins to build your confidence up. I guarantee you it'll give you momentum. You'll start feeling better about yourself. But once you get past that point, try to take massive action. That's one thing I definitely learned from my own personal experience with getting into real estate. I wish I would have failed faster. I wish I would have done more things so I could have failed faster and more often, because I look at it now as that failure is part of the game. You know what I mean? Like getting, you know, not getting the answer you want, not getting the yes every time. It's just part of the process. But the faster I get through the BS and the no's, the faster I can get to the results and the yeses. And so that's just one way to do it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's good.
Hey, so I think we really had a top four right here. It's hard to dispute, but these next two, especially number 6, we haven't got to number 6 yet. It is a special thing that if you implement that into what you're doing, you're gonna get rich in 2022, without a doubt. So we got to stay tuned. But we're one away right now. We're on master income producing activity, and what do I mean by that? Right? If you know how to save your money and work with money and manage yourself and understand delayed gratification, if you're open to receive all the knowledge from the earth, from your surroundings, your community, because you're around positive people and you're out there working, taking action, working towards your goal, you have to have something to do. Because if you're spinning your wheels, doing multiple different things, it could take you longer to reach your goal. But if you master one activity, repairing appliances, selling real estate, right? Driving people around and having great discussions. That's a nutshell. What the he drives people around, talks to them.
I do. That's what I do.
Selling diabetes strips. You can pick up trash, post an ad on Craigslist, Facebook. There's so many things that you can take action on that builds up to bigger business or something where you see yourself or you can envision yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's only like 12 things in the world that you can do, right? We can wholesale real estate. We can sell insurance.
It's a mess. Dude.
But no, there's tons of things, man.
It's too many things, you know what I mean? Like, not to cut you, oh, my bad, I mean cut you off, Marcus.
No, that's the transition.
There's I think there's so many things people get overwhelmed and they basically make it harder than it has to. But you might even be doing something right now that you can scale up by mastering it and make more money with it. You can also look at doing something on the side, like you know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody saying go quit your job instantaneously, but how Marcus said, if you got a flatbed truck, you can go pick up people's garbage on the weekends and make extra money that way. If you do that enough times and multiply that, once again, going back to delayed gratification, don't spend that money, don't overspend that money, use this money to build your business, you can get another truck and hire somebody to drive that one, and they can be picking up garbage for you. You know what I mean? Like that's a simple way. And mind you, like that doesn't take any extra time for you to study some type of subject. That's not you. You know what I mean? Having to do a whole bunch of extra. That's you using the tools provided to master something that you're good at and doing it. But you know what I mean? Like you said, Mark, if you want to take another step, master how to communicate with people. You know, getting people to open up to you and give you problems that they need solved and help them solve it. There's so many different ways that you can, I like to say, there's so many different ways you can pimp the system. You just got to figure out what it is that you want to be good at or that you have an interest in, and getting very deeply involved in that subject. Go down the YouTube rabbit hole. Go ahead, Devontae. My bad.
That last part you said that's where I was headed. That deeper. We look at everything as a surface thing. Okay, I'm gonna provide transportation to people. That's a very surface thing, right? But you can go deeper into it, like what can I do consistently? And I talked to you guys about how I came across this journey, figuring out what worked for me. You know, at first I was gonna go the private route, and then I thought, okay, more money would be better, great, you know, more revenue. And then I said, you know what can I do consistently that maybe it's not about a lot of money, but I can do it so consistently, I can get $500 a day out of it. And it turned out to be, after doing I took the action, I asked all the questions right, I have to get myself in the environment, right, to figure this out. I couldn't do it from the outside in. I couldn't be like looking like, I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna figure it out and never do it, right? And then and for somehow through osmosis from outside the process, it's gonna come from inside the process and come out to me and then flow in my head. I had to be out doing it. I had to make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? But I figured out it was dialysis. Dialysis go and drug treatment. Dialysis go 3, 4 days, 5, 7 days a week, depending on who you are and how bad you need it. I can build a system out of that. And if they don't go dialysis, it's a huge deal. They need to go dialysis.
Huge deal.
It's a huge deal. If they miss a week, they got to go to the hospital. They go to the hospital. It's like a whole ordeal. So out of that system, there were a lot of people that needed transportation. Dialysis centers need them to be there. A nursing home need their people to go there. The private people need to go there. So it was through the depth of it that I figured it out. You know. But it was simple. It was not something that was overly complicated. It ain't sexy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It ain't sexy at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it makes money.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't think nobody gets excited when you say dialysis. I hope that.
Not at all. But the thing
I ever heard that turn somebody on.
No, not at all. But if they don't go, you know what it is? Opposite is issue. So
right.
Hey man. So man, you working, so basically mastering your income producing activity, you know, actually picking something, doing it, understanding it, asking those right questions, doing everything. And this leads us up to the special number 6. And no, we didn't trick you guys. So if you're still watching now, please go like, subscribe, and we're gonna get to number 6, guys. You ready? The 6th and the final, the 6th. The 6th.
That's right. I got you. There you go. I got the other one right here.
All right. And the final thing that you need to do to get rich in 2022 is understand being rich really isn't a thing. Now, it's a mindset. And man, this, Tavante, you take it. I'll chime in a little bit about this, man. You're a mindset guru. Launch.
So let's think about this. Okay. When I started to play the piano, it was frustrating. I mean, I think this is the greatest illustration of what we're talking about. It was frustrating. I wanted to play a song like my dad, and I was tinkering around. All I could do was like a basic C scale. And I was like, this is so boring. And then I found a tutorial and it was like taking me chord by chord, and I had to go finger by finger to learn the chords. And I did that, you know, for like a month or two. I probably learned like half the song. After a year doing this repetitive steps, right? And then figuring stuff out along the way. I was in the process. I was asking my dad questions. Like I was going all this. And then it occurred to me what was happening. And then I started to improve learning songs a whole lot faster. What I'm getting to is, guys, the mindset happens when you do something repetitively. It's all these actions that you don't want to do that gets you into the mindset of being rich. And if you don't do them, you can get to the place of having money, but that don't mean you're going to be rich. Because rich means that your mindset is there. You think about things differently. When you hear information, you do something. I'm always ear hustling. And people that are rich usually do that a lot. They're always looking for opportunities. You know, you hear people say, I was drinking coffee and I heard somebody next to me having a conversation. And I put 25,000 for equity right now. You know, they're always tuned into the frequency of money, of wealth and riches, because they're tuned in. And you don't do it by doing that's not frequency, it's consistent. You gotta build that consistency. You gotta build that. And the more you can focus and build that before you even get the money, before your check account says you got $1 million, you already rich, buddy. You already rich. Now you're just waiting for the money to show you what you already feel that you already are.
Exactly. Oh, okay. Yeah, you muted, Marcus. There you go.
I am rich. There we go. You gotta speak it. Speak into existence.
Gotta speak it. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, no, I think like you said, that mindset's a big one, man. I know I remember reading that book, what book I was reading, but they talked about, I think like up into the 1940s or something like that. Like it was a myth. It was like a big myth. Like people were trying to run a mile under 4 minutes. And it was this big disbelief that you could not do it. Like people, there was like literally it was crazy. Like people were literally saying like, if you run a minute and under 4 minutes, your heart's gonna explode, your lungs are gonna explode. You know, your brain's gonna ooze out of your ears. It was just this crazy relation around it that it couldn't be done. And this was for years people were trying to break this record. And then finally a guy came along, broke the 4-minute mile, got it at like 3:58, something like that, broke it. And this is, like I said, for decades people have been trying to do this. The next person that did it in 2 weeks. Did it in like 2 weeks, broke his record. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. And now like multiple people have done it over the course of all these years. Multiple people have done it. And it goes to mindset. If you don't believe that something can happen, that something can be done, it's not going to happen. If you don't believe you can get rich, you are not going to get rich. If you don't believe you're capable of doing it, you're right. You're not going to be able to do it. So you have to develop that mindset that you're going to be able to do this. You have to get that feeling of unworthiness towards that you aren't going to be able, that you aren't capable of doing it, that it's not for you. You know, like that's a big part of this whole game. And then going back to the whole statement, like, you know, like rich is a mindset. I totally believe that too, because depending upon what you feel is rich, or what you feel capable of rich, you're going to be right as well. If you think making, like right now, if you think making 150,000 makes you rich, and especially if you're making like 15,000 a year, you're right. Like that's a big ass jump. That would make you rich in certain people's eyes and in certain areas. But also, once again, like how Marcus said, it's almost a myth, because if you're making 250,000 a year, but you're around people that's making 10 million, you ain't gonna really look rich to them. So it's really, really kind of, it's the thing. It's being rich is totally upon, or it's totally on what you feel it is, what your goal is, what's going to make you feel rich is really, really coming from internal. It's coming from your mind and your mindset. What you feel is truly rich to you. So understand that, really grasp that. It's going to be hard as hell to kind of understand that going in, because I think everybody has this notion, rich is a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? I want to make $1 million. But I think like, it's like once you get to that million, you like, oh shit.
This ain't a lot of money.
Exactly.
Not saying I got $1 million in my account right now. I'm just saying. It's based on my experience. I just know as soon as you get to a place where you think you want to be, you're like, oh, it ain't that much money.
Exactly. Especially like I said, because then if you following all the steps we gave you earlier, 1 through 5, shit, by now your circles change. So you're around people that's making this money. So you're going to be more accustomed to this money. You're going to be more accustomed to the things that it brings. And it's not going to feel like it did in the beginning. And like how Tavante said, you're going to look at that money and be like, oh, this ain't as much money as I thought it was. Let me go get more. Yep. You know what I mean? So really, really hone in on your mindset on it, because that's another thing too. It can be a slippery slope and a dangerous track, because if you start getting what you're looking for and find out it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, you can also become very unhappy where you're at. And that could be a major setback for your mindset and what you're doing. So along the process of becoming rich and figuring this out, really, really hone in on your mindset and understanding and figuring out what is rich to you right now, and be okay with adjusting that when you move ahead, but understand that time's gonna come.
Hey man, I believe big in affirmations. And man, I listened to one, it's called I Am Rich. It's like 2.5 hours or whatever. Ooh. So when I'm just like idle mind, I may throw it in my ears and just listen. I tease my wife with it. I play it all the time. But man, you when you start thinking you rich, you believe in you rich, all of a sudden, man, you just rich. I'm rich.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And guess what, guys? We got some
rich.
comments in the comments. So shout out to Christian for holding it down in the comment section. Matt, he says he absolutely agree. He made his first chunk of change selling flags from different countries. It doesn't matter what you choose. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's crazy.
Let's see who we got. We got Mark Bloom in here. Shout out to Mark Bloom. What's up, man? He asked you, Tavante, how long have you been playing the piano? It's a good question.
I started playing the piano like 2009, and I took a huge break, and I ended up buying a house. And guess what was there? A piano. I couldn't run from it, man. Like, I couldn't remember. I was like, I really want an acoustic piano, and it was there. And so, actually, the piano I've been playing ever since 2013. But it's not really about time. It's about everything we put in here. I think you can apply that to anything in your life. You know, if you're doing something consistently, if you're doing those things, then you can be successful. And I think the whole notion that it's going to take you time is just a belief. And if you believe it, it's true. And if that's true, then that's true. But it's not about time. So I encourage you to play piano. Do those things. You're going to be good at it too, man.
Hey, we got one more. Shout out to Kirk. He said, great conversation, guys. So, man, I believe, we were going through our topics, man. I thought this was going to be a good one. We were fired up about this one today. And, realistically, it is that simple, right? Rich is a mindset. And then also, you just got to have that consistency. You have to be able to take the action. You have to be surrounded by positive people. You have to be open to accept your blessings, accept the answers, and accept the criticism. But more importantly, you got to have a strong foundation, because, even though money isn't the everything, when you ain't got it, man, it's hard.
Yes, sir.
But hey, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up today, guys. So we're here every Thursday on YouTube. This is the Triple Profits Podcast. And you just watch 6 things you need to do in 2022 to get rich. I done changed this title so many times, it don't even matter.
Man, you got the remix. You got the remix edition left and right. That's all right. It's, as long as when we write it up and type it up, it'll stay the same.
But good show, guys. Good show.
Definitely. Till next